None.
Do you need, are you gonna wait to take?
Pete. Good morning. All right, so we got some movement down here at the off the open. We got FOMC today. We got some news. We got Trump talking, so could be a pretty wild day. Let's see how we open up here. All right, where is that at? 488. Excuse me. All right, markets are looking pretty heavy here. So I ended up passing that Lucid account yesterday that I lost on the stream, or I lost money on the stream. Ended up making some of the loss back on the take profit account as well. Ended the day at like a $70 loss there. Didn't trade my fundeds yesterday, so that's good news. But yeah, so ended up doing all right yesterday. Looking like we may come down and test these lows from overnight here at like 388. Excuse me. Just kind of being patient today. Wanting to see how this plays out a bit. All right. Big, heavy 5-minute candle. wanted to get in off of like a 50% retrace of this initial little move here. Didn't get the pullback, so that's all right. Let's see what we end up doing here. We got Trump talking too, I believe. I believe he's already speaking. Yeah, it's 6:30, so about 4 minutes ago he started speaking. We got pending home sales coming up, and then we got FOMC later. All right, so we got NQ and ES looking very heavy here. Let's see what ES does off of the swing. I'm going to enter a short here at the 50% on ES. What is that? 91.75.
Order filled.
All right, filled on the short there. We're just doing a quick 1-to-1. Looking for the 50% retracement of that swing to push back down and take out the lows. I know we got previous day close sitting there. We got some other lows sitting down there. Could act as support, but I want to get a quick little scalp off this. It's about a 1-to-1. Yeah, see, we got NASDAQ looking very heavy. Or weak, I should say. NASDAQ looking weak. I'm a little tired today. We lost power for a couple hours last night. Our like whole city did pretty much, so it's never fun. All right, looks like it may want to recover here. Excuse me. I'm dealing with this like little cough. We got NASDAQ recovering a bit as well. It could just be a retracement to continue lower. Let's just put the fib up on NASDAQ as well just to see. You can see we almost touched that 50% on NASDAQ and we're already, 30 points lower, looking to push and run these lows. Come on. Let's get just a little bit lower here. NASDAQ looking weak. ES following suit. NASDAQ just ran the lows, so we should see ES follow suit here shortly. Come on, ES, just a little bit lower. All right. Come on. Take these lows. Do we need to do this? I mean, Nasdaq's looking super weak. Like, look at that, you know? We are 2 points away from the take profit.
Order filled.
And there we go. All right, nice little $175 win there on the take profit eval. I'm about $450 away from passing that account. Good job, Magnet. All right, so we got moved lower down into previous day close. We got a retest of that. Let's see how we react here. I'm gonna draw another fib. As you can see, we pushed on, so that was like the first swing. This is the second swing. We'll push it back up. We could go up and just reclaim this whole move. Want to see how we play out here, give it a little bit more time because it is still within the first 15 minutes. And as you can see here, we opened up, so on the 5-minute chart, right? I'm going to delete this fib just for a second. We opened up on the 5-minute chart, we swept below this previous candle, and now we're pushing back up into the body and then past the body of that previous candle. So on the 1-minute chart, it looks like this could be, another swing right here. We got the first swing that we just took down into the, to run the lows. But if you look on the 5-minute, we're still in the first swing. So if you take the fib and you you pull that fib down a little bit lower, we are in the first swing on the 5-minute chart. So we're pulling back up. We just pulled up into the 50%. So if we want to see this go lower, I want to see this reject here and push back into the lows at 83. We can say the same thing for NASDAQ. We're past the 50%. We're into the golden pocket on the 5-minute. Then you go down to the 1-minute, and NASDAQ made a newer high, right? Made a higher high. So I'm interested to see how we react from this area because we could push and run the lows. We could, enter a short with our stop up here. Moving averages are about to cross down. I would want to play this on ES. If anything, if I do play it. So we'll see how we close here on the 5-minute. All right, we're pushing up. We just ran the high. We swept the low, and we're sweeping the high on the 5-minute. So let's see how we react here. I'm gonna be patient. All right, looks like market wants to reclaim back to the upside. We're gonna wait though, because the next group of accounts that I'm trading is gonna be my 3 Lucid funded accounts. I'm gonna group trade those today on Tradeovate. Just because I don't like. I haven't been doing good at individually trading the funded accounts. It's like I do well on one and then I do crap on the other. So I'm gonna draw these fibs back to where we entered this trade from. Nasdaq's gonna run those highs. On ES, I'd want to see, so just flip it, right? On ES, I'd want to see something like this. Pull back into this range, or into this 50%. We can shoot for the highs. I might just go for the session, or we just broke the session highs. So, we'll see how this plays out. Looking very strong. Look at that 15 minute. Look at that bottom wick. That's crazy. Okay, so ES broke session highs over here, the opening high. NASDAQ is about to break session highs, but we still haven't pushed above that yet. Still want to see a retracement on ES to get into any longs. I'm just going to leave this position on the chart. If I don't end up taking it, I'll remove it, but we're about to have the 15-minute opening range set as well. I'm going to change that to blue. All right, 15-minute opening range is set. I'm going to delete the one from the other day. I'm going to draw it on NASDAQ as well. All right, well, I mean, we had a very good start to the stream. Took a nice little $175 win. I believe that this move up, we could see a very nice move up. I would want to see a retracement before getting into any sort of longs. Because we did break the pre-market highs. Next target would be like 602 to take that high up there. But again, want to see a retracement. So and the retracement to the 50% also lines up with this wick high here, the orange line, as you can see. So I want to see the market retest that and then hold and then continue to push higher. Let's see how we're looking on the higher time frames as well. So the 4-hour just bounced off of the 20 SMA. The 1-hour swept below and pushed up on ES. We're just barely pushing up. So this is kind of what concerns me on ES. We are in a downtrend. We're in a downtrend right now, right? So if we use the same logic that we just used to take that short, where are we at on the hourly? We're right there at the 50%. So we could see this fail and sweep lower. Because we got one swing, we got two swings. Technically, this isn't a swing yet because we didn't break this low. So we could have this retrace. We just had a retrace up to the 50% and then boom, continue lower. The daily looks like we want to push higher. So we'll see what we get. NASDAQ kind of rejecting violently. I'm going to delete that so we're not getting fibception. All right, so if we can't fail to put in a new high, I believe. No, if we can't put in a new high, I think we might see a continuation lower. We didn't quite get that 50% retracement or even the retracement down to that high. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm trying to get these to not be as dark. All right. See, and it's like, oh, well, we just had this giant bullish candle, right? Sure. That could be just a manipulation leg, though, to send us lower. Look at NASDAQ. Let's draw a fib here. Let's see what we're doing. All right, NASDAQ just pushed down into the 50%. You can see the moving averages are crossing lower on the 1 minute, 15 minute. We're below the 200 SMA. So let's see how we react here. I'm going to take this position off just because I don't want to confuse anyone. We are looking very heavy here. We just had a 5-minute closure back into the 15-minute open range. I'm going to take a short here on ES with the stop at 98.
Order filled.
And if we get stopped out, that's okay. I'm not risking too much on these funded accounts. But look at that. If we push back up, we run those highs. That's exactly what I said. I thought would happen. Target opening range low, 83.5. No, we are getting a nice reaction back up. I'm moving my stop up to the high. This is what the position looked like. It's the exact opposite of what I said I was going to do. But looking at that hourly didn't really have me convinced that we want to push higher. So that 20 SMA may provide some good resistance along with the 15-minute opening range high. So we might just be seeing some manipulation here to fake people out to the upside. But if it runs those highs, that's on me. I said I wanted to see a retracement to the 50% and then push higher. Got my bias caught up a little bit in that hourly chart. So it's the joy of trading ES, though. You can take these kind of trades and risk it and not have to worry about losing too much because it's a little bit cheaper than NASDAQ. But NASDAQ is looking very heavy, looking very weak. We saw this with ES yesterday. That trade that I was in originally. I entered, it came down, it almost stopped us out, and then it pushed lower. So I'm not saying that what happened yesterday has to happen today, but I'm going to trust my bias here. Just based off the higher time frames as well, based off that hourly. Yeah, I mean, look at Nasdaq, man. That would have been a good short play right there. I mean, but the 5-minute closure on Nasdaq was so deep into the 15-minute opening range that would be a pretty big stop on Nasdaq. See how this plays out though. Come on, Trump, come out and say that the deal with Iran didn't go through. We didn't run that low. But I'm just gonna let this play out. I'm not gonna overanalyze here. my thoughts on the hourly. I showed you fib from this high to this low. We just tapped into that 50% and we're rejecting pretty good. I want to see us push lower to take this previous day low before we continue higher. And I know this is the hourly chart, so it could do a bunch of things in between, but we're here, we're alive, we're trading, we're letting this play out. All right, well, we ran that previous low right here at 92. I want to see us push below that 91.25 here on ES. Could even do a little fib geometry here. Give us some more confluence. So, based off the fib geometry, we could have had an entry up here. Look where the 2618 is, down there, right? That is the fib geometry position. But I'm not going to leave it on the chart because this is the position that I'm in. All right, we just ran that low at 91. I got 2 micros short on ES on all 3 of my funded accounts right now. My funded Lucid accounts, I should say. All right, look at that. NASDAQ just ran the 15-minute opening range low. So her sister was a princess, dog. No, so ES should come lower as well. Get down there, you little rat. Get down there, you little rat.
Order filled.
All right, I love you guys. Look at that. What did I do today that I didn't do yesterday? I trusted my analysis. I didn't get scared because I entered the position and it immediately went against me. You just got to trust it, right? I've looked at the higher time frame. I said, hey, okay, yeah, look, it looks like we could go higher. On another day, I probably would have flipped my bias to be bullish like I did yesterday. But you draw the fib, and then fibs don't lie. 50% retracement, back down. We ran the 15-minute opening range low. Guess what I'm going to do now? I'm not going to look at those funded accounts for the rest of the day. And I am going to lock them. I'm going to lock those accounts because if I don't, I will fuck them up. You know, oh yeah, I made $83 on each account. Well, you do the math. Actually, I'll do the math. That's $249 across those 3 accounts. If I can do that every single day, which I'm not expecting myself to do every single day, I'll be happy. I mean, you know, that's all you need. Look at that. Boom, locked. Within the first 30 minutes of trading, we took 2 trades, one for $83 each on the funded, one for $175 on the eval. I have one more funded account to trade. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to call it a day. That's, you know, because Trump's talking or farting, whatever you want to say. We got pending home sales. We got FOMC. We got the new FOMC chair. Got a lot of shit going on today. So, and for old time's sake, look at that. Look at that fib geometry play. Boom, bang, boom, right? Right. All right. Sorry, gotta get a little excited when you have the wins because yesterday was a little rough for me on the stream. Kind of looked at myself last night, looked at the trades, and I was like, "What? What are you doing, man? Like you could have had one trade, one win, and then I ended up having to do this bullshit for the rest of the day, trying to get the losses back. Worked out, but you know, okay. Back to it. What was I saying when we were up here at the 15-minute opening range high? Said I'd like to see us push lower and sweep these previous day lows before we continue higher. All right, my lovely fiance just bought me an energy drink, so we're gonna get that going. Man, I'm doing this off no energy drink or caffeine or nothing. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing this morning, brain? You got no sleep, no caffeine, and we're reading the market like this? I guess I need to get 4 or 5 hours of sleep every night. Yeah, I'm just happy about that setup there. You know, that was some good trading. That was some really good trading. And that is like 1.3 to 1 risk to reward. So we still got positive RR there. And what I didn't, but I did touch her. I touched Nasdaq on the eval. All right, let's see what we do here. Back to the 5-minute. So we are in a downtrend. We just swept that hourly, the first hourly candles range, swept the low. So we may see a move, you know, push back up higher. This could be the start of a new swing to the upside or a pullback at least, because you see how this 1-minute candle opened, we push down, and then we push right back up above it. That's the pullback. That's a little pullback right there. We just swept that low. So it looks, you know, bears are in control. Bears have the intention of sending this lower. ES being cute. You got ES doing its thing. So I know I got a shit ton of fibs on the chart, and that's okay. We're gonna draw another fib from the top to the bottom because we had 1, we swept higher, we got 2. So that on the 15, like I was saying just a minute ago on the 1-minute, yeah, sure, we had a nice push up, we had a nice bottom wick, right? Price opened up on the next 15-minute candle, swept the high, pushed lower, and took out that previous candle's low. So I would expect this next candle, as it opened, it swept. I would expect it to retrace about at least up to the 50%. Excuse me. At least up to the 50%, and then run the lows down the previous day low. Because right now people are looking at this like, oh, well, we got this low sitting here. We need to run that. We do need to run that, but it doesn't need to be right now. Because if you look, we have this little zone right here. Okay, we got this zone right here. I'm going to draw it. That zone right there was responsible for sending price up to take out an internal lower high. So this zone is probably going to do the same thing when price gets back into it. Okay, we had one tap, we pushed back up, right? We had another tap, we pushed back up. We had a sweep of that low, we pushed back up. And where are we at right now? I'm talking and I missed my entry. Okay, let's see if we can catch it on NASDAQ. Doesn't look like NASDAQ's quite made the same move yet because we got that low down here, the Asia low. Nasdaq is a little bit more risky, you know, just because of how expensive it is. And when I say expensive, I mean like the risk per point or the risk per tick. We had a retest of the 15-minute opening range low. I'm going to go short on Nasdaq here on my other funded account
Order filled.
with the stop right above that, and then I'm going to target previous day lows to get ran. That's at you know, we'll do 300. We'll put our take profit at 300 just because it's a round number. Price usually likes to gravitate towards those round numbers and react off of them. So we are in short. Entry is 371. Target is 300. Stop loss is right there at 406. I have my take profit at 300.5. See, and on the 5-minute, we didn't quite get that 50% retracement. So I could be wrong here, and I could get stopped out. But then I'm going to re-enter another short because I am expecting this to go lower. Excuse me. But I do like that that doji off of the 15-minute opening range low. That's nice. We did sweep the hourly and 30-minute opening range low, so that, you know, that could be a sign of bullishness. But I believe the bullishness is short term. Especially since we had a we didn't have 5-minute closure. We're about to get, you know, this candle's closing in 3 minutes. If we see a 5-minute closure below that 15-minute opening range low, for sure running lower. But again, could be wrong. Been wrong before. All right. ES just went up and touched that 50% of the 5-minute range. Nasdaq may want to come up and do the same.
Stop filled.
That's fine. We'll re-enter. We'll find another position to enter here. See, in the hourly, we still didn't run those lows. So, I mean, unless this is news driven, I don't see why we're running up right now. Took a small loss on the take profit funded account. That's fine. All right, if this 5-minute candle fails to close above the 15-minute opening range and we close back below it, I'm re-entering short. Come on, we got about 47 seconds for that candle to close. Okay, that's very... I'm entering, stop above the high, take profit down at 300 again. This is rejecting very, very strongly right now. And if I were to wait for a 5-minute close, my risk to reward would be pretty insane, and not in a good way. So This is the second trade I'm taking on this account. If this loses, I'm going to lock it out for the day and just focus on work. Give myself 2 losses, and then we're good. So we are getting that push back in below the 15-minute opening range. Close below it. That's a doji, so that, some indecision going on here. Could just be a little bit of a fake out to push higher, but we'll see. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and I will call it a day and come back tomorrow with, fresh mindset. And then we'll get after it. So let's let this play out here. I have my stop right at that high at 428. So we'll separate these a little bit so y'all can see it. And this is all purely market structure. I'm using the 15-minute opening range. I'm using the fibs, but this is purely market structure how I'm trading right now. See, if this pushes up higher and flies, then I don't need to be a part of it. Then I'm wrong. And that's part of trading. You're wrong. A lot of the times. But we are bear flagging. This does look like a little bit of a bear flag. I'd like to see this push lower. We got ES. It broke through that zone that I drew out. Swept it. We didn't close below it. We swept it. We pushed up and we retested it. And now ES is wanting to push higher. So if I'm wrong on this, I am wrong, and I am okay with that. Because I'm green on 3 funded accounts. I'm green on 1 eval that's almost passed. If I'm wrong on 1 funded out of 4, that's normal. Like, that's normal to me. You're putting risk on. You gotta expect the loss when you put risk on a trade. Yeah, we are pushing back up here.
Stop filled.
All right. Well, stop filled on that. 2 losses on the take profit funded. That's fine. Like I said, I'm green on my other 3 fundeds, so we'll call it a day there. I don't want to push it on this eval either. Don't want to lose any more. So I'm going to lock it up for the day. Would have been a nice scalp to have like a limit order sitting up here from 428 down to 57. That'd be about 70 points. But I mean, what you gonna do? And to be fair, if I'm playing off the 5-minute, this is what the position would look like. This is why I was trying to just catch it. I should have just tried to catch a quick move. But if we're playing off the 5-minute, this is what the position would have looked like. That's a 1-to-1, but the stop is 100 points. I don't feel comfortable risking that on a funded account. So, because I mean, if you look at it, sure, if I took that trade at the 50% with a 100-point stop loss, 2 micros, I would have lost about $70 more if that trade would have lost than what I, took on these 2 trades. And if it ended up winning, sure, I'd be up $400. And that's something that you notice, you put into your trading journal, and you say, okay, yeah, I took 2 losses trying to catch the move early. If I would have waited until that retracement, I would have took basically the same amount of loss, but also could have made that the amount of loss that I took on the 2 trades on the take profit if the trade ended up working out. I don't like working in like shoulda, coulda, wouldas. But that's what your trading journal is for. You go back and you look and you say, okay, what happened here? Well, I entered too early. I lost $329. If I would have waited and took the setup based off of what I was seeing on the 5-minute, it would have been basically the same amount of risk. And that's okay. That is all right. See, but as you can see here on ES, low, low, low. We broke structure here on the open to create that low, but then we swept. We swept that zone, and then we pushed back up violently. So I'm gonna hang out here for probably like 5-10 more minutes, and then I'm gonna call it a day on the stream. Focus on the charts. My my take profit funded, I'm about halfway. I've eaten about halfway into my drawdown. You know, you get $1,500 a drawdown. I'm at 755. But you just gotta take it one day at a time. For instance, on my Lucid accounts, you know, on one of my Lucid funded accounts, I've eaten about $300 into my drawdown. The other one, I am $86 over my buffer. Oh no, sorry. I am $186 over my buffer. So we need about 300 more to get a payout on that. So, you know, if you take it one day at a time, one trade at a time, and you just manage your risk, I called it a day, right? Like $329, cool. Fine with losing that in one day. If I were to keep pushing and lost another $329, then I would be pissed, you know, and I'd be upset, be like, what the hell, man? Like, what? But I'm not, you know, I'm not mad. I'm actually very happy with how I traded this morning. And again, with these accounts, I'm learning to group trade them again because my first couple trades are usually my best trades. You know, like that $175 win we took on the eval, I would have been ecstatic with that on my funded account if I were group trading. And that's something that I can look back on and be like, okay, yeah, do what you did with your Lucid accounts, group trade them. Because for some reason, my mindset with funded accounts is it just like rewires my brain. It's like my confidence is not there. I'm scared. I don't want to lose money. So I think that's what I'm going to do tomorrow with my take profit. I'm going to group trade it with my take profit eval. The group trade the funded with the eval. That way, when I'm entering the trade, I'm not thinking of it as, okay, well, this is a funded account. I got to wait for the setup. And this is what happens when I'm like, oh yeah, my funded account. This is going to continue, right? I mean, I had my thesis. We closed below 15 minutes, but then we failed to push lower. We made a higher high. I re-entered. We didn't make a lower low. Then it took me out. And that sweep of the first hourly candles range and the 30-minute opening range, which is this blue box. And then you add on top of it, we swept the Asia opening range, the Asia lows. You know, in my head, that's my setup right there. That's my setup, is the sweep of those higher time frame areas, the Asia 30-minute opening range. That's what I like to trade. So we saw a sweep, we saw another sweep, which is just a manipulation leg down, and then we pushed right back up. Right back up. So we're just doing some analysis here, you know, we're just looking at it. So in a perfect world, if I was trading an eval, I would be looking at it like, oh, okay, yeah, no, we swept the hourly first hourly candles range. We swept the 30-minute opening range. We swept the Asia opening range. That's 3 confluences on higher time frames, right? Versus, oh, well, we closed below the 15-minute opening range on one doji 5-minute candle. On evals, my mind is in a different place. Like I said, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, if you enter long here at this 50% retracement of that first pullback, and then you target, even just target the session highs. Right? We're up 100. We would have been up 100 points on that. Risk at 42 points versus, like I was saying, you know, using the 5-minute, targeting the lows with your stop at the high. That's just not, that's not the trades I like to take. I like to take the ones where there's lower risk. And the fib pullbacks generally work out for me on the 1-minute, you know, because I'm comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with the bigger risk. Not dollar-wise, points-wise. So it's just, this is a good example for my journal. I have 3 confluences here. Hourly candles, first hourly candles range, 30-minute opening range of New York, 30-minute opening range of Asia. That all got swept. We look on the hour. That's a perfect setup right there, right? That's a sweep, and then we push right back up into the body of the previous hourly candle. And where are we headed? We're probably heading up to session highs, because where's ES? ES is at session highs. We got the Wicked Witch of the East over here, and we got ES doing its thing, you know? Anyways, I'm very satisfied with how I've been the trading today. You know, my accounts are locked. I did get an Apex 50K eval for the auto trader that I'm running, and that made $400 very quickly last night in the Asian session, and that account is done for the day as well. So, I mean, you know, I can focus on work. I can have the charts up. I can watch what it's doing because I'm always interested just to see how price action is. You know, see how it's moving. Nice. If you don't mind me asking, how much did you make? Not that it matters. I'm glad that you made money, but you know, it's always nice to just get those numbers out there to put that out into the universe, saying that that's, you know, that's how much you make. Well, we 150. Nice. That's across like all the accounts you have, or is that just on one account? Nice. All right. Well, yeah. So my eval mindset, you know, trade would have worked out nice. Very nice. And again, that's a good journal entry for me. It's a very good journal entry. Each of your 3 accounts. Nice. That's awesome. All right, we got NASDAQ pushing up to session highs, or to the 15-minute opening range high. Came about 3 points away from it. So we live and we learn. We had a nice fib geometry setup. We had a nice 15-minute opening range rejection to take the lows. You know, 2 solid trades on ES. NASDAQ did me wrong once again, usually, as it does. But I'm overall, you know, satisfied with the trading today. We just ran that 15-minute opening range high, 165 points based off that little pullback. And just for example's sake, we could even do a little bit of a fib geo here. It doesn't look like we would have gotten an entry on that, but that is the game we play. All right, well, I'm gonna call it a day here. Hope everyone has a good rest of the trading day. Try not to risk too much. We got FOMC later. You know, I don't know if Trump's still talking, but anything can really just shift this market. So protect your capital, protect your accounts. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see y'all tomorrow, and God bless.